perfection.
Welcome back to the watch. And I've run out of energy. I think I need more woman energy in my life, Shad, because...
Female
energy.
We're talking about Lord of the Rings and why it was so diverse and had femininity and...
No, it's not diverse enough, and the fact that it has more female energy just inherently will make it a vastly superior work to the previous Lord of the Rings anything, because that just makes something better.
Oh, yeah.
Now, this is coming from a gold mine of a new article that dropped over the weekend, so much so that we've needed to break up our reaction to different things in this article.
Yeah.
And this is, so if you haven't seen our other video about the interview with the Deezer actress lady.
These are nuts.
Oh boy, that one was a wild ride. But that's not everything in the article. They're trying to attract people by saying, we're making stuff up that's not Tolkien or not in Lord of the Rings. Yeah, that's a way to grab the fan base. And the thing is, as we've mentioned multiple times...
They're literally saying, hey, guys, you're going to love it. We're gaslighting you. You're going to love it. No, you're going to love it. You said you would.
You will love it, and if you're not, you're a bigot.
No, but you guys literally said you'd love it if we gaslighted you. I heard you say it. Don't lie now. You said it.
Actually, I think I heard them say that too.
Yeah. They said it. You said it.
And this is like the first piece of media that has black actors in ever.
Ever. It's a good start, isn't it?
Yeah, yep.
You said you like it.
Anyway. So, in this part of the article, they're focusing on the actors that are of the Númenórean kind of section, and already massive changes, right? In which Isildur and his father, is it Elendil? Elendil. They're alive during what looks to be, from the trailers and everything, during events that, according to Tolkien, they weren't even alive during. Like, they're there. So, but they haven't changed anything.
It's all exactly the same.
Remember, like, the actor Deezer says, we're not changing anything, but then she said, we're interpreting everything. Which means they're changing everything. They're like, it's the stupidity of these people. These are the changes, but not only those changes, there's like, we need something more. There's something missing with this dynamic between Isildur, his father, everything. He needs a sister.
Yep.
Now, this is the thing, right? If they just added a sister, wouldn't have mattered spit. I was like, okay, yeah, cool, interesting, we'll see what happens. But now, they're like, this has improved the work. This is why you should watch it, because now there is woman. That is an inherently sexist tone, because flip it in reverse. It's like, you know, I just don't think there wasn't enough male representation in some really important, like, female-focused media. Paradise Road is a film about women caught by the Japanese and put into concentration camps and the horrible stuff that they suffered while during that. And so it's an Australian war film that tells the story of a group of English, American and Dutch Australian women who were imprisoned by the Japanese in Sumatra during World War II. It was directed by so on and so forth. And so, you know what this film is distinctly lacking? Male representation in this, historical period. Like, there's no men in this female war camp.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, imagine if someone had the hubris, the gall, the sexism to say, this needs male representation in this experience, in an area where there was legitimately no historical evidence, like representation of a male in that war camp and everything like that. I'm pointing out that they believe adding a gender into a story that wasn't mentioned, wasn't there, they think it legitimately improves it, and that they're pushing and celebrating it for that fact. Like I said, I don't care that, they have a sister for Elendil, right? But now they're trying to say it's better as a result. It's like, well, hang on, why is it better?
I actually don't think they do. I actually don't think they think, we're putting diversity in, it's much better. The quality has improved. They're doing it for a political reason. It's the same reason they put products and stuff for product placement. They want to implant an image in your mind.
If the creators don't do that, it's because they believe the diverse crowd believe that the diverse crowd think, women representation, it must be better.
Maybe,
because that is their marketing push. They're all saying it's more diverse. We have more women, more female energy, therefore better. It's like, no, you don't need more male energy in Paradise Road to make it better, and you don't need more female energy to make Lord of the Rings better, because guess what? Lord of the Rings had female energy in it, okay? And now that they're just making it all about it is a slap in the face to the previous works, the representation it already had, and it doesn't even need, it's just a story about characters and events.
The female representation in the Lord of the Rings trilogy is like some of the most hauntingly beautiful stuff put to film. Like remember the part where she leaves and then she sees a vision of her son and Aragorn in the future. She runs back and then what's his name again? Elven dude, I forgot his name.
Oh, Elrond.
Elrond literally goes on this explanation of what's going to happen to her, how her husband's going to die and she'll remain in agony. Like, that was hauntingly beautiful, right? And look at what they've given us now for feminine energy. Bunch of fat, ugly black women who are really annoying.
I don't know, Isildur's sister doesn't look too bad. I think this is her there.
Do you remember? Did you see the description of her from Tolkien?
What?
She was one of the fairest women.
No. That's the queen. This is Isildur never had a sister. They made her up.
Oh, I thought it was Isildur's sister.
No, that was the queen, the fair... Yeah, they described the queen, who was being played by a actor of colour, okay? The female queen is described as like ivory.
Bright eyes.
And then she was...
Fairer than silver, ivory, or pearls.
Silver, ivory, or pearls. Those are things like, okay, that's a very clear description of that character. But of course, they change it because that's redressing.
These show creators, doesn't matter if it's Lord of the Rings, like Witcher, they keep doing it, right? Elven princess from The Witcher, portrayed by a brown woman, but they've put pale makeup on her. Same thing with Triss.
Well,
they keep doing it.
They're not going to... I know, they
Why?
I reckon they've obviously realised the mistake, but then they're trying, and then, like, after the fact, they're not going to do that in Rings of Power, because this is the selling point for them now. And, they won't put the people of colour in whiteface. That would be sexist.
Well,
sorry, not sexist, racist.
They literally did for some shows.
I know, they did it in The Witcher. They put whiteface or white VFX. White VFX face.
We were okay when the Wayness brothers did it for white chicks, but this is just insulting.
The other thing kind of came up just briefly in one of our previous videos is that it doesn't matter. You could have a film with only men in or only women in. If it's a good film, you don't need like representation on either side. And there are actual examples of films that only have men in and are still great films. So there's 12 Angry Men, okay? There's Master and Commander.
Oh, that's a great movie.
Great movie. Not a single woman in it. The entire movie.
Well, on the sea, there's a few birds.
And apparently The Thing, with Kurt Russell.
In the sequel, there was... the prequel that came out in like 2013, there was a woman. And it was much worse.
Not helping out their case. Is there a film? I'm sure there is a film that only has women in it, right?
On the internet, there's a number of them.
Thank you for that, Oz.
Tell you what, that's got feminine energy. I prefer it much more.
But there are certainly films that I have know of and seen that it's about female experiences in which having men injected into that thing would be wholly inappropriate, like Paradise Road. Perfect example. There's male characters in it.
But they're evil Japanese prison guards.
Yeah, they're not very nice for Japanese during World War II.
Dude, have you heard of the rape of Nanking?
Of course I have.
That entire city?
Yeah, but like, holy crap.
There was a Nazi scientist there, and even he was like, what the...
Yeah, because calm down, hold up.
It was so bad, the Japanese refused to acknowledge that it happened.
Yeah, they ignore it. They don't teach in history or anything. Also, the Japanese did some horrifying things to the Koreans during World War II. So much so, my sister-in-law, who is Korean, told me this, right? We were watching The Karate Kid, and the headband that... he puts on, that symbol on the headband is like the Nazi symbol to Koreans. It is considered that vile and evil for what the Japanese did to the Koreans during World War II. Okay? We go places here. So,
well, let's not talk about that conflict. Let's talk about this conflict.
Yes, let's talk about this conflict. This is what they say, right?
Non-canon edition.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Exactly. They just flat out mask off again, acknowledge that, this isn't what Tolkien wrote, we're just making things up. Rings of Power draws from some of Tolkien's least fleshed out history. But what's interesting about that, even in the least fleshed out history, They're not using it! They're changing crap and specifically ignoring other things that is written down about its history to make up their own crap. Okay? This isn't an excuse where they're like, oh, we had no other option but to make up stuff because there's so little to work with. You had friggin' heaps to work with and you chose to ignore it! Okay. Well, Amazon's Prime has the rights to use information from Lord of the Rings appendices, extensive but non-story focused add-ons to the novels, also called the Legendarium. They don't have access to other books Tolkien wrote that cover the same period.
Thank goodness.
It's funny that...
But no, they're making up crap like they're not allowed to use hobbits in it. So we'll just use hobbits and call them another name. But they are hobbits. And what I find hilarious about this article even calls the Half-Foot a hobbit. So where is it? It's under here. They're talking about Eleanor Nori Brandyfoot, played by Markel, blah, 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 whatever. Richards describes her character as a witty, sarcastic, fun hobbit who is also incredibly cautious, which comes from her past. So...
They can get sued, I think.
They could get sued for that.
Someone sue them,
but it's the article that set it up, the showrunners, because they inserted that between her quotes.
Incredibly cautious? What the hell happened to her?
Yeah, I know, right? They say from things that happened to her in her past. It's like, holy crap, what did happen to her? But they know, everyone knows, these are friggin' hobbits, okay? But then the showrunner is like, oh, no, actually, they're half-foots because they're not allowed to use hobbits legally. It's bullcrap. They're friggin' hobbits. Everyone knows it. Even the article slips like, just calls them hobbits.
Should we call them half-asses instead?
As a workaround, showrunners J.D. Payne and Patrick McKay introduced a number of new characters. This isn't a workaround. No, because they didn't need to, they weren't left with, like I said, they weren't left with such little to work with that they were forced to make up stuff. They're just choosing to ignore it to make up new characters who don't conflict with the canon of Lord of the Rings, but help us to prop up some lacking narrative. This age has a lacking of narrative when there is so much story that they could have just gotten a show out of, just in like one thing.
From all the comments I've read, people are always criticizing them for getting things wrong with the story because obviously there's so much more story and background for like all the elements they're choosing, so obviously there's things they can cover.
Well, no, they're actually right. It is lacking some narrative. It's lacking their narrative.
Oh,
yes,
yeah.
That's the next thing, is like the other narrative that they're saying is lacking is, the narrative they want, the representational narrative, okay? The narrative of women's struggles during this time, The struggle of a dwarf of colour mother queen, Like there's not a narrative there. They need to add that narrative as well.
Okay. So she's at the top of the hierarchy and still we need to be like, yes, she's oppressed. I'm going to guess that's going to happen. I'm guessing that's going to happen.
Oh, she's going to be telling, correcting the king, telling him what to do. Same with Galadriel and everything like that.
Yeah.
They're so ideologically possessed that they can't write the female character's weakness.
Yeah. She's going to...
or the representative characters, because the Black Elf is also going to be like a Gary Stu kick-ass, unbeatable guy.
Yeah.
Who's also going to be... I bet they're going to make him seen as like this thing of beauty to be desired.
Oh yeah, because it's the forbidden love with the other chick, so it's going to be all... Ooh.
So one of those additions, talking about, remember they said they're lacking narratives, one of those additions, Horvath said that the character brings a new female energy to the family that wouldn't otherwise exist.
What family?
The Elendil.
Lord of the Rings cast family?
Family. It's like, again,
they don't look
there was female energy in Lord of the Rings, but that's not enough. They're not the piss and vinegar warriors at the front lines. We need more of that. Which actually, is that actual female energy if you're just making the women act like men? I would be interested to see what their view of female energy is if she's just going to act like a butch man in your face, do as I tell you to do thing. Let's see if there's an actual feminine energy here. She also said the experience of bringing an invented character. Oh, they're not changing. They're not like an invented character, Lord of the Rings, is altogether different than what her canonical castmates are going through. So she gets to just make things up.
That's not going to break anything, is it?
You know what we need in modern media? More masculine energy. We need men to act like men, heroic, upstanding protectors and providers and stuff like that. Media these days has been severely lacking strong masculine energy.
The exciting part for me is that there are these signposts on the way that Tolkien has written, but he hasn't actually fleshed out these characters.
We can see that these two men are from a different time.
Yes. Yes. I don't know. One just gives off more masculine energy. That'll be. That's a painful way to sit. It's similar to the woman sitting that way.
Yeah.
Can we show how men... This is the masculine way to cross your leg. You put it sideways across your knee like that.
Yeah.
That's the way to do it. Okay?
Because that keeps your balls intact and not squished together like two competing Death Stars, you know?
I can't get any further than that. That's too...
Oy.
Yeah, Shad's like he's a nimble...
got flexibility. But this guy is saying what's exciting about him is the stuff they get to make up. Okay, let's go back and hear that again.
Me is that there are these signposts on the way that Tolkien has written, but he hasn't actually fleshed out these characters.
The signposts, right? This is like the vaguest things that they then impose an interpretation on. That Tolkien must have really meant this, you know? Like, Sylvan Elves, they could be, this way, or any vague thing that they latch onto to try and justify their interpretation. And then they usually get called out by actual Tolkien lore experts. And so what are these signposts that, this character stared a lot at this other character, and this other character was male. I bet he's probably gay. It's a signpost! It's a signpost! There's indications that this character really was attracted to men. Like, he stared at another man. I'm just saying, there's a signpost there.
I don't want to look at either.
I'm sad because I know it's true.
What? It's true that when you look at another man, you have feelings for him?
No! That's how they're going to interpret it.
I know. Those are the signposts that they'll be happy to latch onto.
To the extent that the other characters are in the Lord of the Rings books. And so just being given the opportunity to begin to imagine what he might be like.
Imagining what he might be like, just work from the source material. Don't look at all the things Tolkien didn't say. Look at what he did say. Don't just go to make up crap.
That's the thing, though, is if you're trying to do like a narrative with characters walking around and there's, a part where there's no information regarding his characterization, what do?
You work off of what was said about him to try and get an accurate representation as possible, not fixate on the fact that there wasn't said anything and I have freedom to do whatever I want.
Well, to me, and this is my interpretation of what he's saying, I'm not changing anything of what he said. It sounds like he's literally saying, well, there's some gaps here, so I've just got to try and do what I can with it.
Yeah, but to me, the fact that that's the most exciting part for him is like, wouldn't it be more exciting to try and represent this character in real life as accurately as Tolkien envisioned him? That would be exciting to me.
If I was in his position, if I was given a character to play in a Halo movie and I got to fill in the gaps for myself, I'd be pretty excited about that, because then it's like, yeah, that's my choice, but it's not. It's the creator's choice. It's the writer's choice.
Character goes because he has to get to Middle Earth at some point, perhaps, we think, and forge the last alliance of elves and men. So that journey arc is an exciting one.
It ain't gonna be.
Okay, maybe because it's saying I'm excited about the story that wasn't said of him coming to Middle Earth. We know he has to get to Middle Earth.
He's not gonna forge the alliance of elves and men. You know who's gonna forge the alliance?
I was very scared, but also I think JD and Patrick were so compassionate and caring with and gave me the space to feel safe to explore and create the character of Isildur. And you meet Isildur at a crossroads. He wants to fulfill his father's dream and become like a ship's captain.
So I thought Isildur wasn't in this because it's way before his time, but no, Isildur's in it. This is the guy that cast it into the fire, and he said no. Doesn't exactly look like the Isildur.
Doesn't.
No,
it doesn't.
He also wants to explore the world and find himself, which I think a lot of young people do.
Find yourself.
This is like...
You're not missing.
They want to reflect the experience of young people of the modern day, the lost millennial bullcrabs. Like, wouldn't it be better if you could show a young person who is strong, firm in his upbringing, know the future that he needs to work towards, and shows an ability to take up responsibility and execute it well as an example for this lost generation of people that just are getting the worst upbringing imaginable by this woke, corrupt media and everything. But no, we want to reinforce your, your confusion about where you need to go in life and stuff. Let's double down. And again, it's like they want this world to reflect our world, not Lord of the Rings. Like, I reckon J.R. Tolkien probably pictured Isildur as a friggin' Chad early on, who was just like, I'm going to be the future king. I know what I need to do. I want to be it. I want to take up this responsibility, and it's kind of like, remember how original Thor was like, he was too wanting to be king. He was too confident, and he needed to learn some humility and balance and stuff and restraint. But it's like flipped on this, like, oh, we're going to make him a millennial, basically.
Peter Jackson did a bit of an identity thing with Aragorn. See, that identity thing wasn't in the books. In the books, he's literally carrying around the broken sword.
This thing, Aragorn, is strong as anything, right?
Yeah, but in the movies,
I'm saying even in the movies, he's actually really strong. But his doubt is that he's afraid that he would be as weak as his, forebearers. There's a justified one, but he's not like, I don't have purpose in my life. Where Aragorn is friggin' a ranger hunting the dark parts of the Middle Earth, killing,
Well, now we know where the diversity went.
Destruction wherever he goes, always annoying.
He causes destruction wherever he goes. They're making Isildur...
He's a bad ship captain.
A bumbling, brash guy who causes all these problems, and I bet his sister is going to be the one who'll need to fix it all. Because she's the female energy that's going to be showing the bad masculine energy the correct path.
Always annoying his sister.
Yeah. So his sister is going to be seeing him causing destruction everywhere. She's going to get annoyed and tell him to shape up and teach him the right way.
It's a complete inversion of like feminine and masculine energies, because feminine energies is the chaotic energies and male energies is ordered. You can see this in everything. Oh, how's your day, sweetie? They'll tell you every awful thing, and the male's first instinct is, how can we fix that?
Which philosophy does that come from?
What?
The association of feminine and chaotic and
Taoism.
Taoism.
Yeah.
Is it?
Originally.
I know it comes from a philosophy.
You know the yin and yang?
But it comes from an exaggeration of women are generally more outwardly emotional and men are not as outwardly emotional as women and stuff. It's not to say that women can't be awed and everything like that, but there is an interesting thing that you will notice in your own life when you're married.
But there's an undercurrent of sadness with the family because they're also dealing with the death of their mother and father's wife.
And we're dealing with the death of Lord of the Rings.
So there we go. Just more, things that, hey, it's going to be better not because of good writing, not because of, story that you're working off of what Tolkien had. You're making things up in the gaps to just do your own story, and it's going to be better because of female energy, not story and everything like that, for reasons, particularly just because it has people with the right things in between their legs.
Or the right pigmentation of their skin.
Which is inherently sexist and racist. That's what you have with the people creating this show. Oh boy, is it going to be fun to see. Stay tuned, because we're going to be here for the whole journey, for we always, and you must always, stay on watch.